In a world where you must play to survive, you needed a hero, and we're making them for you. D20 Debut.
D20 Debut, where your favorite heroes and villains of television, gaming, and comics is broken down and statted to fit your next tabletop game. Downloadable PDFs found at patreon.com. Just search us at Crit Confirm Entertainment.
Today we are talking about the one and only Shredman, Shredder from TMNT, and I'm pretty stoked about this one. He's a good villain.
You're a Turtle fan, though.
I am a Turtle fan. I follow the Turtles religiously. Not really, but I'm a pretty big follower.
Your religion is Turtle?
Yeah, I'm a Turtle religion.
I think I agree. I think Shredder's a great bad guy. I mean, I don't even think he was I think in the original comic concept, he wasn't even meant to be a reoccurring villain, and he's turned into really the only big name in the Turtles universe.
The number one villain.
Yeah. Kevin Eastman will even say that he wasn't intended to be the main antagonist.
Yeah.
But he's turned into a huge, huge icon for, the antagonist to the Turtles.
He just fits a great place with the spiked armor, the dark persona. I mean, he's an evil ninja fighting good ninjas, and it just works. It makes sense.
Evil ninja.
So let's pull out our character sheet here and get started. Character name, the Shredder, played by whoever.
Orokusaki.
That's correct, Orokusaki.
Orokusaki.
Not to be confused with Orokunagi. That would be his brother.
That's a true story. Character level. Here we go.
We can definitely go with class.
Yeah, let's start with class first.
Yeah.
Character level is going to be debatable.
I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there in the beginning. I think he has one level barbarian. At least.
Maybe if he was Super Shredder, I would totally see that, but
not for the strength aspect, for the fact that when he's around the Turtles, he loses sight. He lets his anger overcome him, and that's been his downfall in every combat with him and the Turtles.
Let's make it very clear to anybody listening, we are talking just the original comics.
Yeah, we're talking comic Shredder. We're not 80s Shredder.
We'll probably mention it, but we are not basing these stats or anything that he has off of anything past the Mirage comics that Kevin Eastman created.
Not even the movies?
The movies fall closely enough, the first one at least, to the comics where I'd say they are
overlap
well.
very well. Yeah.
See, I've got limited experience with the Shredster myself. I mean, I've got the movies and
Shredster,
and yes,
right.
Great man.
And like I said, I've got the movies, 1 and 2, because 3's not really continuity or really worth watching, in my opinion. But I've also got the cartoon from when I was a child, and that's what I have to base it off of. Because I'll be honest, I've never read a TMNT comic because it was never exposed to it. So I haven't gone out onto that avenue to read. But I don't know. I would say that you are correct in saying that he does lose sight. But anytime you see something that really pisses you off, you're going to lose a little bit of sight of it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I can see that. Well,
especially if you are working like incredibly hard, you are enduring situations that most other men cannot. Like speaking from experience here, I've worked on potty training my cats for a long time, but sometimes when they go outside the box, I rage a little, and I want to snap crayons and flip cars over. But I
can see that being completely related to a master ninja, leading
definitely
a evil clan of ninjas trying to take over the city.
Look,
only to be opposed by 4 turtles.
Just because
totally the same.
Just because my situation isn't, I'm running an entire clan of foot soldiers. I have my own clan of cats that don't listen to shit, and I am opposed by their inability to shit in a box.
If they were mutant ninja cats, they totally wouldn't work well together.
No, they wouldn't. Remember the time you shut the hell up?
No, I don't.
No, I don't either.
All right.
Well,
so,
I mean, anytime that I'm with Bubbernut on this. I've never really delved into the TMNT comics, so that's really going to be your forte, Teaspoon, and kind of helping guide us. But I do know, the basics of Shredder, and anytime the only thing that I can see going down the route of Barbarian is what I've seen, what I've watched, what. Like I said, we're not basing it off that. We're basing it off the original for the most part. But anything that I've kind of ever seen, I kind of agree when he gets around. He's supposed to be a master tactician. and he's supposed to have this high level of intellect, and when he gets around the turtles, he does get a little.
He loses that.
He does.
He loses sight of his goal.
That's like saying that everyone has a barbarian level, considering that their arch nemesis gets in their way.
I would
think. You're just throwing this out here. Dexter's Laboratory. He doesn't rage and become a barbarian when he's yelling out Mandarf repeatedly because Mandarf has foiled his plans.
No, but he does when Dee Dee does. When Dee Dee's around.
Dexter has no barbarian levels. We're not going to argue this right now.
Dexter has at least one barbarian
this
level.
Is not that
you can S a D
right now.
But everybody gets a little, like, in the face of adversity, when you see your nemesis or whatever your counter evil is, you get a little upset. But that would be like saying that everyone that sees their arch nemesis foil their plans has barbarian levels.
Like I was saying, I was just basing it off that. He seems a little clunky, not necessarily ragey.
I wouldn't even call him clunky, just he loses sight. My argument for not calling him a barbarian, because when he does lose his mind and gets pissed off and he just rages, he becomes less effective.
Yeah.
A barbarian harnesses their rage to improve their abilities. Like, they don't, like, that's their thing. I mean, they may become a little more careless about them, but they become much more effective overall.
It's true.
And it's
when the Shredder rages,
I agree with you.
He's not becoming more effective. He's actually giving them a huge weakness to exploit.
Yes and no. When he does rage, in my opinion, he gets to a point where he does overcome all of the turtles, and we've seen this every time. He overcomes all 4 of them at least once in every combat.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And it's at that point when he's raging, he's saying, I'm done with this, I'm going to end you. He loses sight, and they exploit that because he is careless. He takes a step out of the safe zone of tactician, smart, effective ninja, to barbarian. I just want to get this over with, and I'm willing to take a blow for it. And that's when Leonardo, every single time, deals the blow.
That just sounds like anger issues.
Yeah.
I don't think he rages.
Yeah, I just...
Okay. We see no exploits in increase in strength or an increase in hardiness whatsoever. We just see him rage. He just
I think he's just a full-on ninja all the way through, or whatever class we're going to.
We are going to stick to, like always, we're going to stick to the core rule book on this. So there is no ninja, unfortunately, or it would be easier.
Before we step to monk, which is where we're going to end up stepping eventually.
It's like every time we go to monk,
it's a solid one. We have to take into consideration he wears chainmail.
Not with Mario.
Not with Mario.
Oh,
it was still in discussion, and I
threw it out the window.
We're gonna move on.
Dexter has barbarian levels.
Time.
Get the fuck out of here.
Now we know what we're gonna talk about next.
Whatever.
I mean, it's hard to really assign because yes, he does wear armor, and he is clearly a ninja still.
Okay,
correct.
Abilities. He's highly skilled master of ninjutsu. He has the peak of physical condition, master of stealth, genius level of intellect, and a master strategist. Those are the things that...
Those are his attributes.
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 That still doesn't really tell us what class he is, though.
I would say...
I think we're definitely narrowing it down to monk or rogue, or some combination of the two, maybe.
I'd give him fighter as well.
I can potentially see that, but
I give him fighter for the weapon training. He does use a longsword or an equivalent katana.
I mean, monks,
I see a monk rogue.
Can do that.
Being honest, I see a monk rogue when I put him together in my head.
But monks don't have training with a longsword.
It would be so much easier if we can just go outside the book and just give him the class ninja.
It's true, but unfortunately we don't have access to that. And we're trying to stick to core, but for the fact that he has, unless he's going to take martial weapon training as a feat, he uses a longsword. He uses a katana. He offhands a katana with his claw blades, which is a monk weapon. And that's something that we have to take into consideration.
I was going to say, I'm with Bubba not here. I didn't actually read the comics.
Me. What's the claw blades called? They're in the book.
Necode.
Okay, thank you. That's a monk weapon?
Yeah.
It's like a punching dagger.
Punching dagger, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
And along with the weapon training ability, the armor proficiency. And yes, he would probably take the negatives from, you lose some monk abilities for wearing armor, but I think he still wears the armor.
You can just take armor. You can get armor. You can wear armor as a feat. You can
I
take those
understand
as
that,
feats.
but at that rate, we're taking martial weapon training and armor training.
that they lose.
Okay,
when
well,
they are
he's got
wearing
metal
armor.
plaques on his shoulders, shins, forearms, and hand.
And his helmet.
Spiked
Sometimes
armor.
hands,
I would,
because it's
Ray,
mostly
I
on
would,
his left.
I would disagree with the fact that he wears armor. I would say that he wears things to accentuate the kind of damage that he can do and inspire fear in his opponents. The only real armor he has is a helmet.
It's been recognized in comics and in the movie that he wears chainmail.
Yeah, that it's either like it either appears to be like a simple fabric or it's chainmail.
It's a chainmail. In all the comics, he wears chainmail. And
Okay.
it's a very mesh chainmail.
Okay.
I would say chain shirt.
All right.
So yeah, we
And,
call
and
it
at chain shirt, we could go rogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at rogue, we still need to take into consideration the fact that he uses a katana.
They could.
It's easy. It's easy. I mean, a lot of DMs can sub out weapon proficiencies easily enough.
He could
Yeah.
just take the feat. I mean, rogues get a lot of...
I mean, he is a human. His human feat could be martial weapon training, and that's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, it's not crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, especially since technically, if you want to divvy down into it, he's going to go into the ninja line. I mean, I know that we're trying to pigeonhole the core rule book, but there's really no good way to wrap up Shredder without saying that he is definitely a ninja.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, you can't do that with the core rule book. But we're not arguing anything other than the fact that he's either A, a monk, or B, a rogue. He can't be anything else at this point. He doesn't cast any spells. He doesn't really rage, though we see rage in his character. He has some weapon training, so maybe considered a fighter, or he's just taking the feats to allow him to do so.
I would see,
And it could be
that before
rogue
fighting.
talents. as
Exactly,
well.
it could be rogue talent. So I
There's
guess
many way to cut the cake.
it's neither here nor there in the sense that, I mean, we just need to determine what his actual level is, because then we can split it up. And I think that's going to come down to us opening up our core rule book and discovering what monks can get at X levels and what rogues get at X levels.
And we are basing all of this off of Pathfinder /35 D&D core rulebooks.
Yes. Okay. So monk, let's just start at 4. I think that's a fair area to start. You get Kaipool of magic and slow fall. I disagree. He doesn't have slow fall because he falls right into that garbage truck.
Yeah, he eats it. He eats pretty hard.
So going down to 3rd level, fast movement, maneuver training, and still mind.
I would be inclined to believe that he has those.
I could deal with that. Still mind maybe be less so. I'm looking here to see exactly what.
It
still
just
mind.
it gives you resistances to
Enchantment
additional
spells.
resistances
Okay,
to
so yeah.
enchantments, things like that. That's all.
Okay, so yeah, that's believable. I could give him fast movement and maneuver training at 3rd level.
Sure.
So then hopping over to rogue here. So we want to at least give him 1 rogue talent for the weapon training.
Yeah.
Or that could be encompassed with his human fighter level or
I was gonna say
human,
that could
human
easily
feat.
just be any feat that he takes.
Uncanny dodge is at 4th level. I'd say he has uncanny dodge.
Yeah, he doesn't
At
ever-
least.
he's never really caught flat-footed by
Going
caught
up
off
1,
guard by any of them.
going up 1, we go up to 3d6 sneak attack at level 5, and at 6 we go to rogue talent and trap sense +2, and I don't think he goes to 6.
What secondary rogue talent do you think you would have? That's important.
Probably, I would see him having a much higher dex versus strength. I mean, I think he's probably fairly strong as well, but I mean,
It'd probably be a combat trick. He could take a dazzling display or something, and that could be the intimidation through his armor as a feat.
that's a
dazzling display
stretch.
works by actually displaying skills, like displaying your skills with a weapon. Like,
Well, if
showing
you remember on the rooftop when the turtles encountered him for the final battle in the movie, he does this. When they approach, he does a display of his prowess before combat begins.
That's true. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but that is true.
And that could be a way to show intimidation through the armor or the spikes.
I don't think they on the rooftop at the end right before he dies. I don't think they weren't intimidated until they actually started fighting him.
Yeah, they were definitely
It could
more
be a failed
intimidated by
check, but it
losing,
doesn't.
But
It doesn't mean he couldn't use it on his foot ninjas. It's something he could have failed to succeed on. You know, he could have tried to intimidate the turtle, succeeded.
I
and
don't
saw
think he
through
really
it.
needed the dazzling display to further along his intimidation.
What other
Probably
rogue talents
just
are available?
Let's see here.
Weapon,
Bleeding attack,
weapon finesse is available.
combat trick, fast stealth, finesse rogue.
I could see that.
Finesse rogue.
Yeah, it's plausible. Ledge walker, quick disable, resiliency, rogue crawl, slow reaction, stand up, surprise attack, and trap spotter and weapon training.
Probably weapon. The two I could see most would be bleeding attack would be good. I mean, slashing him with his claw would probably leave all kinds of bleeding damage. Finesse rogue and weapons familiarity or whatever.
Okay.
I don't know. How would bleeding attack be any different than being like? Why would he get that versus anything with a normal sword? Like we can't. I mean, when has any of you have any of you seen this or encountered it in the comics or books?
Nothing outside of just strictly just injuring the turtles.
Okay.
So nothing too obscure like that. Nothing like I'm dealing a permanent blow to you.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like consistent damage continuing round after round, and I don't.
That would be my least argued one.
Yeah, same here. But I mean, I could see that with his fighting style and his weapons of choice, I can easily see that be a part of.
That could be one of his tactics.
Yeah.
Okay, I can roll with that.
And that's definitely a tactical move over, just a raw damage output sort of thing. Anyways.
So 3 levels monk, and I think we're all agreeing on 5 levels rogue.
I can live with that.
So and at CR8.
Yeah, to put him it's pretty formidable.
Yeah,
pretty formidable ninja, I would say.
Okay, 3 monk, 5 rogue. Now we move down to stats. Interesting part.
The part we always argue about most.
That's right. Strength. He's at peak physical condition, but I don't think his strength is overshadowed by his dex. I think his strength is lesser than his dex.
I would be inclined to agree with that.
The most.
I don't think it matches. I'm not sure it's relevant. I would say that
I'm in agreement.
Blow for blow, Raphael would be able to deliver a more physical attack. Yeah.
I would say 14 or 15 at best.
I would give him that. I'd say a 15.
I'd go 15, yeah.
Okay. Dex?
Dexterity.
Expert.
He is expert level. Like I said, I've never read the comics, but from the movies, he doesn't express a lot of dexterity, but it's assumed as a ninja that you're exceedingly dexterous.
He doesn't express it in a stealthy
fashion. The biggest drawback about the movie was, as well done as it is, it was made during the 80s, and their costume designs had a lot of drawbacks due for moving well.
Well, I mean, look at what we know here. This can divvy back into the backstory of the Shredder himself. You don't exactly become a leader in the Foot Clan if you cannot perform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
He took over the America branch basically through windfall capabilities in his own self.
He moved up the
and
ladder.
There's one thing that we can see in the second film, The Secret of the Ooze, when Kino is trying to become a part of the Foot Clan, he has to perform X amount of tasks, and the trainer at the time says that few others can match these particular abilities, and Shredder was an expert level. So some of these things, such as removing the bells or the physical combat, Shredder could do with much ease. So I would say that his dexterity would be assumed 17, potentially an 18.
I'd say 18.
I can do that.
Okay. Constitution, I would say average. He's a trained fighter.
A trained fighter that can resist being crushed by a garbage truck.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that's due to his levels.
Was he crushed in the comics?
No,
he was
blown up.
brutally murdered.
He was blown up in the comics.
Blown up and murdered.
We're going to try to stick close to the comics, not the movie. That's.
I think we have to incorporate.
We're
going back and tweet with both. And in the comics, what happens is Leonardo deals the final blow, and they offer him the chance to commit
seppuku, die honorably,
and he says no and pulls out a grenade and it blows it up, and
Donatello
knocks him off the roof, and he is presumed dead, and at that point.
Yeah, I mean,
and then he comes back later.
He is dead because he's resurrected.
Yeah, he comes back in many reincarnations throughout the comics, but that is the point at which he dies. So,
which he was later decapitated.
Right.
And then the cloning worms come back after that.
Yeah.
Constitution, I don't think it's anything to write home about, but I think it's average for a fighter, which I'd say 13 or 14.
I'd go 14.
I could say 14. I'd say he's stronger than he is hardy.
Yes. Intelligence. Trained tactician. He's got an above average intelligence.
They said genius level.
Genius level.
Genius level.
Okay.
I mean, his intellect.
I would say that he's smart, but everything that I've seen from the comics, from the cartoon, from the movies, while it may say that he is that just may be that he has the formal training for it. I can't say he's very intelligent. Charisma is different.
I'm in agreement here, actually. I agree.
He's never expressed increased intelligence.
He is smart enough to run a foot level, a large organization easily.
He's a leader.
He's a leader, and he does that exceptionally. But I don't think he is genius level. I think where he excels in intelligence, he lacks in wisdom.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I could see him being intelligent, but lacking in wisdom.
I'd give him a 15, 16 intelligence.
If they
I was going to put him at 16.
They explicitly say, though, he has a genius level of intellect. Just because we haven't necessarily...
True, but when you're going over heroes, it's something you got to realize in the comic book world, when you're assessing the capabilities of a hero and or a villain, they put things in vague terms to express it, such as the Incredible Hulk. They would say that the Incredible Hulk has super strength. Super, I do not believe, is an appropriate term to assess the Incredible Hulk's strength. You can agree with me or disagree with me, but genius level intelligence and super strength may just be there as a placeholder
For an actual
for an undefined number, which we're trying to assume.
16 is
here.
anything to shy away from.
No, 16 is
good.
in this
trained.
world. It's
And you guys
pretty
know
damn
more about
good.
it than I do, so I just wanted to make sure that...
Let's see, 16, that's what we're putting it at expert level, which is generally considered a genius in that field. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
wisdom, I'd be the first one to say it's 10 to 12.
Yeah, it's not...
I couldn't give him anything higher than a 12.
Yeah.
He
I was
lets
gonna say-
his anger get the best of him, and a
In
wise
every
man would not
situation.
let that happen.
Yes. And that's the one thing that he's lacking as a great ninja is wisdom.
That, and, I mean, yeah,
That's
another
why-
big thing is, I mean, most
why
of
Yoshi
his...
could take him.
Most of his... I just completely drew a blank what I was trying to say.
Words.
Proud of
His
you.
quest, like, just pretty much most of his decisions are completely ruled by his need for revenge.
Just his
Yeah.
driven
Blinding him
desire
to-
That's
for...
his entire
blinding him to-
drive
Yeah.
is revenge.
Completely blinding him to the fact that he's running a very successful evil criminal organization. And
Sure.
if he could just ignore the revenge and vendetta, he would just probably have been far more successful.
Yeah, I agree. The turtles couldn't have stopped the entire foot branch.
No,
Eventually,
definitely
they would have been overcome. I give him 11, the in-between.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Charisma,
I think
would
his
say,
charisma is high.
Yeah.
I agree. He is able to effectively run and intimidate an entire foot branch.
I don't think
these
he
are
has,
all ninja.
I don't think he has to do anything physically. I've never expected him to.
He's never had to lift a finger, but when he can do it exceptionally.
Sure, he can do it
See,
exceptionally.
there's a reason why they're scared.
But that's like that's like looking at a lot of things, such as in I don't want to say in traditional my only experience is watching from television, things like that.
It's like Nick Fury. He's capable of being a successful anything,
Badass.
a badass. He can go out and fucking kill somebody if he wants to, but he stays behind the scenes and lets the Avengers do it.
I was going to say, he's risen himself to the point where he doesn't have to.
I don't even think. I mean, we've seen from time and time again that there are issues within the foot, and there are people that try to step up. But I feel like just being around, and I mean, the inspiration that derives itself from the name the Shredder with his armor.
Yeah, he's a legend of the clan.
Yeah, exactly. And while I feel like his abilities are, his skills are nuts. He's insane, but he dominates through fear.
Yeah, I agree.
He's an evil Batman.
Which is still a very high charisma thing.
Definitely.
Whether you're ruling through
I'm
fear
definitely saying
or
that.
admiration, it's still all based off your force of personality. So, yeah, high charisma. I think
I'd
we're all
say
arguing
16
for
up.
high charisma. Yeah.
16 up.
We'll give him 17.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Give him a pretty boy.
17.
All right, moving down the list.
Pretty
Ace,
boy?
Yeah, pretty boy. Pretty boy Shredder. What are monks as far as HP?
He's going to be
D8.
D8's out of the way,
8d8.
so.
It's going to be 8d8.
8d8. It's decent health.
Yeah.
8d8 plus
That'll survive a garbage
16.
truck.
Yeah, at least one garbage truck. Base saves. Let's see here. For a 5th level rogue, you get 1 for 1 for fortitude, 4 for reflex, and 1 for will.
Yep.
Monks
should
are
be-
nuts and get 3 for
Yep.
each,
So we've got.
which gives him a resounding
474.
6. gives him a 6. Man, math. Sometimes it's hard. 11.
It is earlier than we normally get together.
It's true. 4. He's got 6, 11, 4.
I can live with that. That's
fair.
Sounds about right.
BAB, more math. From a monk, he gets +2. To rogue, he gets +3, so he's a +5. Not exceptional, but that's all right.
When you add in
where he lacks his base attack,
he's adding his dex to his attacks and stuff like that, so he'll make up for it.
Combat maneuver bonus is a +7. Combat maneuver defense, however, is a 21, which is fair.
By the time we're done doing all of these characters, no one will ever need to crack open a book again.
Nope.
At this table, we will all just know.
We're all pretty close to being there as is.
We're close, but we still have to look up some things.
So, as a monk, he gets 4 plus his intelligence modifier in stats. So that gives him 23.
And
23 for
Rogue's
monk.
just going to get far more ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's a true story.
I think it's 8 plus intelligence modifier?
8 plus intelligence modifier, so 40 plus 15, so 55. So
And
nearly 70 ranks to...
Plus 8 more for being human.
No, he gave a +16 to the... You gave a +16 to health. So you
Correct,
gave
he's got 8 levels. 8 levels plus 2 for each one.
+2, 1 for... Are you giving both for being human? Because I thought they...
Was he getting +2?
Yeah.
Constitution for health.
It doesn't matter for skills, though. We're doing skills.
I'm saying...
This is
talking about
for
health
health.
again.
No, I'm talking about for being human. Did you...
You don't
put
get a
in-
+1 for...
What's his intelligence?
You get
His
your
intelligence plus
favorite
3.
class bonus, which you
16.
can choose to use.
So
With Pathfinder, you get to choose a favorite
Three
class bonus.
times
You get to choose either
5,
1 in
15,
HP or 1 in
plus
skill.
40.
I'm a
55.
3/5 junkie, sorry.
Then you don't get anything with health. Huh.
Okay. So we can do skills later, and that will just be included on the character sheet just to save time.
Yeah,
that takes a
There's
while.
going to be a lot of skills that he can do.
Going to AC items. Do we agree that he's wearing an armor, a chain shirt?
I could say, yeah, he's using a chain shirt.
He's a leader of a clan. He at least has a masterwork chain shirt.
Yeah.
And it's spiked at that. So masterwork spiked chain shirt for his AC. Chain shirt. Beautiful. Go to feats here momentarily. Let's just do gear. He doesn't have any. He has a cape.
Pretty much. I mean, he's got his weapons. That's about it, yeah. He doesn't really carry much ninja gear.
He doesn't have to. I lied. It falls under weapon, but he also carries shurikens. But
I was
weapon.
going to say, out of all the weapons we've seen him carry, too, he's also had that spear from the movie and then the katana.
Correct. Going to feats. I guess I need to look see here what monks get. So they get 2 bonus feats. What bonus feats will the Shredder get? Do we unarmed combat?
He automatically gets unarmed combat.
Okay,
For being a monk.
gotcha.
He'll get stunning fist. I think he displayed some abilities to disarm, so improved disarm would be a good one.
It's true.
Because I think in the movie he definitely disarmed all the turtles.
Correct.
his armor helped with that too. The claws.
Yeah, I mean they may have provided bonuses for it, but I mean
They
still,
could just be way his character's geared.
he wasn't drawing attacks of opportunity for it. So
Let's see. Where's the bonus feats here?
It was over on this page. Kaipool. No.
we could probably
They're probably
all the feats he's going to take could probably be drawn
back.
off the monk list.
It's going to be Arm Strike.
There we go. Bonus feat. Let's see. Catch off guard, combat reflexes, deflect arrows, dodge, improved grapple, scorpion style, and throw anything.
I would definitely give him combat reflexes.
Combat reflexes.
Yeah.
So that's his 2 monk bonus feats.
Okay, combat reflexes, and as a monk, he gets flurry, stunning fist, unarmed strike, evasion, fast movement, maneuver training, and still mind.
So those are all of his special abilities.
Correct.
At least
Going
monk
over-
special abilities. He's
Yeah.
going to have some more for rogue too.
Going over to rogue, he gets 3d6 sneak attack. He gets uncanny dodge, 1 rogue talent, trap sense +1, evasion, 2nd rogue talent, and trap binding.
Now,
going down.
That brings an interesting question, because I know in 3.5, if you have evasion and you take another, you cross-class into another class that gives you evasion, it automatically improves it to improved evasion. I don't know if Pathfinder works the same way, so
I would say so. I mean, as a DM,
I'm sure there are rules for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd give him improved evasion with that. His rogue feats or rogue talents. Sorry. Do we want to give him weapon finesse and weapon training? I mean,
yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
that just makes sense. So rogue, he gets weapon finesse and weapon training, and those are easily gone, which opens up for a lot more feats. So 8th level, he's a human, so he gets
1 for being human,
1 for first level,
3rd,
5, 7,
so 5 feats.
5 feats. Let's see here. Intimidating prowess.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Leadership would be a great one for him.
Correct. So, intimidating prowess.
No one ever takes leadership.
No.
He has a lot of cohorts.
No
I mean,
one
Bebop,
ever
Rocksteady,
takes
Toga,
would
Razor.
believe
I've never been at a table. I
that
was
he
like, I'm gonna
probably
take
has
the
a skill
leadership
focus.
I actually
Skill
have,
focus.
and
Maybe
He probably
we'll
have
do
the
like
skill
a
focus. What
20th
that would
level
be in
fighter,
would be
and you're like, I
debatable.
have
Whether it would be
nothing else
in
to take.
not necessarily bluff, but any of those checks that are
I've played
benefited
with a few
from
groups that have
his charisma.
really liked
so
the leadership
you could take
feats. They
skill
really
focus
wanna get that
intimidate at
cohort.
that
It's like-
point.
This is true.
I personally don't like to
that
have
would
the
give
extra
him
cohorts, but-
substantial intimidate.
I think that he's
think
substantially intimidating
played
compared to a
someone
lot of
that's
other
done it.
ninja.
Yeah. So skill focus, intimidate.
Yeah.
His intimidate skills gonna be nuts,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and rightfully so. So those are 3 feats already: intimidating prowess, leadership, and intimidate.
So we get 2 more.
Martial or weapon proficiencies.
We did that with his rogue talent.
The rogue talent doesn't give him weapon proficiencies. The weapon specialization gives him weapons focus. He would still need to take.
But you
weapon-
can take a combat feat via rogue talent.
Yeah, we didn't give him the combat feat.
Oh, if I took the wrong one, then
Then take
I would
weapon
take the
focus.
one that would give. That would give him,
If it's at that point, then give him weapon focus,
Okay, yeah. Weapon.
and then you
so
would
weapon
have to-
focus with his claw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But focus claw. I don't know what it's called. Get the correct name in there whenever we write it up. And then
The neck code.
one last
I can never remember that.
feat. He's got weapon finesse already, so there's none of that. Dazzling display. I mean, are we going to roll with that? Intimidate all foes within 30 feet is the short text.
No, I think that's almost like he almost has like an aura about himself, and I don't feel like that has to do with his display. His intimidation and legend resounds in such a way that just
the
him
name
walking,
alone.
Yeah, it's just the name. It's like it is the Shredder.
Yeah.
It's because there's not
His reputation precedes him.
In what we know with continuity, there are more Shredders in the comic books.
Correct.
But he is the Shredder, and yeah, that's what we know. So I would say that not intimidating prowess, but a dazzling display is probably not necessary. I think we're forgetting definitely one very important thing. He should have dodge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
He should have dodge.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Just the dodge ability alone grants him the ability to go into a multi-man combat and be willing to take the blow, but trust in his own self to step in and
avoid it.
Yeah, tank the turtles. I feel
Makes
like dodge is inappropriate. I mean, unless you want to give him something like toughness.
No.
No.
I don't think toughness
If anything
is
else, I
necessary.
would have said quick draw.
Yeah.
Depending on the weapon he's using, he may not need it though. I mean, his claws are
His
always
claws-
ready.
his claws
Ready.
are always out.
Yeah.
Okay, so at that rate, we have his weapons left. And for this situation, I would give him his claw and his katana.
I'd also throw in the spear.
We can do
the
that.
Movie. Those are the only 3 weapons I've ever really seen him with. So,
And I'll also give him
Shurikens
shurikens.
yeah. I was gonna say no ninja is complete without shurikens, anyways.
True. So claw would be dex based, I assume, which would give him a +9 on attack. I don't know the damage. What do you think? D6, I imagine.
No, a
D4s
neck code would
usually.
be a D4.
D4.
It'd be a D3 to D4.
Not a D8.
It'd just be like looking at the damage of a punching dagger. They all do the same kind of damage. Just the punching dagger does piercing, the Neko does slashing, and like a Cestus would do blunt damage.
Gotcha.
So he's probably doing slashing damage from his claw.
So slashing would probably give him a 19 and 20 crit range.
Definitely.
Yep.
Okay.
Times 2.
Dos. Katana is just a long sword, so he's going to be running off his strength, which is going to be less.
It actually varies a lot, like depending on your DM. But the katana is considered a very finessey weapon. A lot of DMs have absolutely no problem allowing it to be used with weapons finesse.
Sticking with the continuity of the core rulebook, though, I mean, this could, like you said, be strictly DM based, but continuity of the core rulebook would go strength.
Okay, we can go with that.
Which would, and it makes sense as well because it's a lower attack roll, which would make sense why he favors his claw.
Yeah,
he's more proficient in it. So the katana would give him a D8 plus 2 on 19 to 20.
See, katana is considered a masterwork bastard sword, so it would be a D10.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it makes sense. Spear. Function off strength again.
Strength based, yeah.
D6.
I think spears do D8.
Would it be a short spear though? He wouldn't have a long spear.
You're right.
Long spears.
It would be a short spear. So yeah, D6.
Okay, short spear at D6 plus 2 times 2. Shurikens.
They are dex based, definitely.
So plus
they
9.
do a D2 damage.
You say
plus strength.
D2.
D2 plus 2. Just still good. And they're times 2. Times 2 crit. So that's it. That's Shredder.
Super simple.
I mean, we didn't talk about the money that he has. I mean, that in and of itself could go on for a long time because he's working in an underground industry.
It's true.
I'm not even sure it's applicable to put his money on there because I don't think he needs money. He just demands what he wants.
He just demands something and it happens.
I want booty.
I'm sure it would happen. He would
Tolkien Razor.
Yeah.
Baby!
Babies! You brought me babies!
I mean, he ran
so
a
good.
criminal organization, so if he needed anything, he just took it.
He just took what he wanted.
And then I don't know how many legit purchases he was actually doing.
He just took what he wanted. He's like, what is he, like an Asian pirate?
Yeah, pretty
Basically.
much.
Son of an Asian pirate. All right, well, that's ye old Shred Man all wrapped up, folks.
Yeah, it is. Who's
Hit
next?
That's actually what I was going to say next. Hit us next time with what you guys want to see next. We'll see exactly what we can come up with. I do feel like there could potentially be ye old Vin Diesel as Riddick himself in our future.
I know what I want to talk about next.
Maybe
I'd like
even
to do the other turtles.
Yeah, we could definitely
we'll
do some other
definitely get
turtles.
to the other turtles.
That goes without saying. We're going to do some other turtles.
In
That
Dexter's
Raph boy.
laboratory.
No.
All in Lexter's laboratory.
Lexter's Laboratory. Dan Marv.